Hello everyone and welcome. This garage episode is about wheels and tires. So I just want to share with you a setup that I really like from a lot of the crawlers that I have. It's not specific to this tire, although I do love this tire, but it's a little bit of a generic setup that I like to run each time. So we'll go through the different parts. So the wheels are usually that I like to use are usually Injora 1.9. They're not expensive, they work well, they're bead locks. And inside I place this brass weight for the front wheels. You can place these twofold, so it can be on the other side, and with longer screws it will generate a lot more offset. I don't need it for this particular setup, so I will not use it. If you can see here, there's ventilation holes on opposite sides of the tire. I like to run these, and it shows a little green dot. The green comes from the foam. This is a 3D insert that I'm using, and it's the softest Injora foam, the green. I usually run the blue, but I gotta say that the green with the Nerf darts cut in half, each dart is cut in half and then placed in here, is a little bit of a reinforced setup. You don't have to change anything or cut or make, decisions in the actual insert, because they just will come off easily if you want. But it just reinforces the inner ring, makes them a little bit more firm somehow. And the fact that I'm using the green here is a good combination, in my opinion, for something like the Pitbull Rock Beasts XL, because these compound, the alien compound, still loves a little bit of a softer foam or softer insert that you would use on another tire. Some tires, given the same rig weight, in my opinion, kind of benefit from a little bit of a softer or firmer insert, and the Rock Beasts fall into the softer side, I think, preference. So we're gonna assemble another one. This is already done with the insert, with the ring that I'm actually using, that is steel brass. So we got the bead lock, placing additional weight, the brass ring adding weight, and then the inner ring of the tire is actually brass itself. So these are all parts that will make these weight a lot. We're gonna weight it at the very end of the video, and we're gonna see how much these weights compare to a rear tire. So this is a front done, and now I'm gonna do the other ones. And I just wanna show you that this one, for example, already has the insert inside. There's no ring. And there's something that you can add that, again, is common knowledge on the internet, to fill these external or internal rim, depending on where you're looking at, where you're placing this tire, because the Injora inserts kind of tend to leave a little bit of room to the sides. Now they're perfect for their own tires, the Injora inserts with the Injora tires, but they're not 100% filling the other tires. And I gotta say, the Pitbulls, the XLs, and I'm thinking the other tires from the Pitbull line will probably be even more suited, are the one tires that I actually think are having the least empty space here. So they're almost perfect. You could almost probably go this way, but I kind of feel that there's a little bit of play here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take these out. See, very easily. They have no directional tread pattern, so it's exactly the same. You can tell it's alien compound because they have this little alien dog thing. I love these tires, by the way. They're nice in scale. The additional piece or component that we want to use is just a piece of fridge liner. You can use soft foam. Some people have been cutting these original foams just to add a little bit more mass to the sides. The fridge liner is common knowledge. A lot of great YouTubers on the RC network recommend this, and I think it's nice. It's not expensive, and it's really, really light. It almost seems like it's not doing anything. So we fold it, we put it in first, at least that's how I do it. We try and place it flat right here. You can see it, it's sitting on the very bottom, and we try and seat it at as best as possible. There should be practically no excess just protruding from the outside. Okay, then we'll place this. We make sure that the the liner is staying at the bottom, so we have all the room up top free. I fold these in 4, and I like to put it up without attempting to not touching the liner, okay? Just so that it stays level. Right, okay. So this worked. The question is, where is the liner gonna be? The inner side of the car or the outside? I usually place it inside, but it's up to you, doesn't matter. Especially with non-directional tires, it's all the same. And we just wanna make sure we're not making weird, just not, okay. See, I can feel that the foam, that the insert is biting on the liner. And I want it to be right on the edge here. Right, it's better, a lot better. So this is our inside. And once it's squished in, the anomalies will go away for sure. And you see it's kind of not keeping its shape. It doesn't quite matter once you actually, all right, this looks pretty good. See, it's bulged, but even. So this is our inside. We now need the ring. Now on these brass rings, actually on all of them, I have to do them for the rear tires ring as well. I like to place some tennis, what is this? Like a non-slipping tape grip thing that they use when they're playing tennis, just so that they can get a hold and not, you know, sweat over it and just slip in their grip. And why am I using this? Because it will just act as additional friction between the rubber of the insert and the ring itself. They tend to be super smooth, and so your foam will misalign. The insert might, you know, just play a little bit. A little bit of that is not a problem, but I kind of like to have it just completely, it's one pass and a half, or maybe just one. And it creates an additional grip pattern that the ring will resist against, okay? So here we go. Now we make sure that the insert is, you know, flat, just placed perfectly around the circle, the ring itself. It's good, okay. And then we'll place the outer ring first here. Just making room for it, making sure that it's nice and flush. Be careful with the light, as sometimes, you know, your lighting will play tricks on you a little bit, and it will show as even, and you actually have a little bit of play. So I'm just keeping an eye out for it. Looks pretty even. Obviously previous installations will create a little bit of a pattern. You gotta be a little bit tolerant about it. Another thing I like to do is to take something, this is like solder flux, but it's the perfect size for this rim, kinda, right? It doesn't touch on the wheel, on the tire itself, and it just fits the wheel. So I just put it like this, so that I'm pushing down without actually pushing on the tire itself. So the first thing is, obviously, we place this as best as we can, trying to align the holes right here. Okay, looking good, actually pretty well aligned. The thing is, now we place it on here. We make sure the tire is fine, we place it on top, and then we squeeze, careful not to just completely roll over, and we take one of the screws that we should have around here. Actually, I'm gonna keep all of them at the ready, because once you start pushing here, it will be a little bit hard to just create a seal. So you see, I've gone through a couple threads, a little bit more. Now I'm going to the opposite side. There's no real opposite, or actually there is, because it's a 6 pattern. Okay, then I put it here, press down and tighten, but not a lot. Now we check the wheel, against the tire. Looking good. Place it back. There's no real need now to keep it on the flux can, but tighten a little bit until I hear some resistance, then I stop. I'm not tightening it more than necessary for now. All right, there we go. Now I place it on the table and I go half a turn in a star pattern. You will feel that some of the screws you're tightening are obviously looser because they generate more, they receive more offset from the pair that you've just twisted, obviously, right? The pair you twist will push the ring outside. All right, so we've done it. I'm at the final turn here, 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 and here. Boom. Okay, this one looks good, and this one looks good as well. The final part is to remove the 6 2.5 millimeter screws holding the actual wheel hex to install the brass weight, right? These one. Now, as I said, you can place these like this with the with the pattern on the inside, and these will allow you to place the hex on top, and it will create quite some offset. These will be a lot of negative offset. Now, the way I'm gonna do it, because you'll need longer screws to reach out from this side to the other side with the buffer. You see how much there is to reach to. You need to travel through this. I'll actually place it with the pattern visible from the outside, just because I know this specific setup does not require a lot of offset. But you know, need be, you can always do that. So you place these. If you have the longer screws that come with these brass weights, or just generic longer screws, use them. I'm using the short ones that came with the bead locks. You must not over tighten these. If you want to make like a safer grip, just use a little bit of thread lock. I don't know why I say thread lock. Like a little bit of thread lock, and that will stay in place. I haven't had experiences where they're coming loose, but just do not over tighten them, because you will strip the first threading, the first couple threads in the hex. You see, we're not really reaching out to the end of the hex, so I would recommend that you use longer screws anyways, but unless you're really bashing your car, these will be fine. Now, what is left to do for me is to take these additional bead locks. As you can see on a previous setup, I had weights here. I'm not gonna use these. I'm just gonna take these 2 bead locks and install the rear inserts for the rear wheels and tires, and then these sets will be done. But the ones that have the most parts are definitely the fronts. So now we're gonna weight them just to make sure we know how much we're talking about in terms of added weight, and we'll be done. Okay, let's do the first set just as it would be on a rear tire. So we have our pitbull tire here, then we have our insert, and then we have our ring with the actual bead lock, and we're weighting at 242.0 grams, so 242 grams. Now, I've placed a tare on it, so we got a -242. We're just gonna place 1 tire over it in a complete set, and we're weighting 128.8 grams more than the previous one. So the front has 128.8 more than the previous one, which is, doubled. Because it's 2 tires, you're gonna have 256 and change grams, on top. So in total, we have a 371, I would say 370.8 grams tire. This is a lot of weight. I like to run these on the wheels and tires just because it's convenient. It's a little bit obviously of rotational weight added, maybe a lot for some of you, but for the most rigs I have, it just adds a ton of weight up front, and it keeps that 60 front, 40 rear weight balance happening, or even more for some of the rigs I have. Now I can feel that this setup still has a little bit of, I wouldn't say play, but the tires are a little bit bigger, just ever so slightly, maybe a couple millimeters, maybe one, larger in diameter than the insert itself. So there would be room to maybe wrap a couple turns of grip tape around here, especially if you don't want to see the green dot. I kind of like it because I can tell which kind of insert I've used. But if you want to be super scale, maybe you want to remove that, and if you place that grip, or even black tape will work, but I would probably go for more grip on this side so that it gets gunpowder black. You don't see it anymore. It's still ventilating. But I gotta be honest with you, these kind of movement that I have on the ring has always helped a little bit of the friction. I don't want to have an extreme bulge of the insert towards the wheel and tire. It just, I don't know if it adds to the friction, but it will just make it so that the wheel pattern, the tire pattern actually creates a lot more of a frictional surface for the truck. And with added weight, obviously this is not slipping. The inside is never gonna slip. Everything's gonna go together. So it's just maybe not cosmetic, but there's a little bit for sure of empty space. I think that, however, this helps the tires conform on the rocks. Something like the Pitbull Rock Beasts XL really benefit from having a bit more of a cushion effect around the obstacles. I hope this video was useful. See you in the next one for the garage. Please remember, if you like this video, subscribe, like, and turn on the notifications. I'm a very small channel, and I might not pop up in your video feed. YouTube will not tell you if I have new videos or new stuff. So if you like these, please consider subscribing. It means a lot to keep this channel going. Then take a look at my Patreon. I do this for a good reason. Maybe you want to support my cause. Again, see you on the rocks. If you've watched until this point of the video, thank you. I've recently lost one of my closest friends to depression and decided to start this channel to raise awareness of it. Life can be tough, but it's still full of amazing things, and family, friends, and a strong community can get you through everything. My friend and I, we used to run through the craziest adventures with RC cars, tinkering, testing, breaking stuff, wrenching, and then testing again. I want this channel to be a reminder of the good things we all have. If you like this content and want to support me, please take a look at my Patreon. Thank you, and until next time, this is Rizzo signing off.